Eric Rensberger is a longtime member of the Bloomington poetry scene. He has published several chapbooks and has been published in magazines and journals, as well as unconventional formats. He constantly works on a theoretically endless project, Account of My Days. He has hopes for the future.
Hi there. I want to start by thanking the 4th Street Festival Committee and the Writers Guild for making sure that this particular Bloomington annual festivity continues, even if it's in this kind of somewhat more limited form. Hopefully next year we'll all be together again. I want to say particular thanks to Tony Brewer and Kyle Quass for managing and corralling the technology that was necessary to make this happen. I'm reading on, this is August 12th, 2020. I'm going to read stuff that I've been working on since the middle of March. It's going to kind of go in chronological order. So I know how that stuff sounds tonight. When you are listening to this, I don't know how it's going to sound in that context because none of us know what happens next. What we know now. We know how dangerous we are to each other, how we need each other. We know, as we didn't know before, how much we live in our hands, how we make our place in the world with them, how we need and touch and need and touch. Now, we can't stop thinking about our hands. Now, the things we've said with them are new again. For instance, give me a hand, or living hand to mouth. We now know that when we are forbidden to touch our faces come alive with a longing for our hands, an unbearable itch only fingers can ease. And we know now, as we know our own hands, who it is that is most necessary to us. And we know a new meaning of far away that is only a different way of saying apart. And in that longing for the necessary one, we know each other. We know the distraught distance each feels. We know how we need each other. Okay, this one is a paragraph. I write paragraphs sometimes that's about as long as I think I'm good at prose. You know, I've done longer things, but I think the paragraphs work best for me anyways. Distracted. I go to do the first thing, and in the middle of one of the early steps, I'm reminded by the actions necessary to carry it out of a second thing I need to do but keep forgetting. So I shift to taking care of thing 2, and while I'm starting on that, thing 3 pops into my head. Soon, I'm jerkily moving around the house, every room, not staying anywhere long, resting nowhere. Thing 4, thing 5, thing 6. I realize that I'm being distracted by one thing after another, but what, I worry, is the master distraction, the one that sets them all in motion. Then it hits me. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the numbers themselves. The numbers keep going up, and there's nothing I can do to stop them. I want to live at peace with a world where the numbers keep going up. What I wanted to know it wouldn't happen again. I wanted to know the name of the last victim. I wanted to know when to keep my mouth shut and when to open it and speak. I wanted to use my ears one more time in spite of all their disappointments, in spite of how well designed they are to hold lies. I wanted those words to pass into them, which would make once again all we live easy to bear. (4/29/20). It doesn't matter what you believe. It matters what the world is. Few tears are shed when the least powerful die. When the most powerful die, there is public mourning. This has been said many times by others. I am only repeating what I've heard. Words are no substitute for action. This has been said too, and it is not quite right. Words are only words, but always we act for the best only if the best has been put into words. Mud on my feet, trees in flower, intervals of rain, and a quiet in the land that has nothing to do with power and no concerns about death. Can you say what needs to be said? Do you know what to ask for? It doesn't matter what the world is. It matters that you believe you understand it. Worship. Those Greeks at the tombs of their heroes, with grain cradled in their arms and their cattle stepping forward towards the knives, were offering their sacrifices and prayers at a tomb, not a temple, because that was where a hero's help was needed, at a place near death. This is one Tonya heard me read at another online forum thing, and she liked. So, bright blue. There on the gravel, a butterfly sits on a pebble to fan its wings. Open, they are a gem, bright blue, amongst the stones. But when folded, nothing, just another shadow. Can't sip nectar from a stone, I say to it, well-intentioned, but my words mean nothing to it, and surely I am mistaken to scold. We are creatures of different orders, different worlds almost, and without doubt, it does what it does for the best, and can't explain it to me. I stare with full attention. The butterfly gem is given a place in my mind. I will recall some winter day of the future, this summer sight, and the memory will warm me. Does it remember yesterday? Does it remember having caterpillar feet? I sit and watch it with memory and language for my wings. My wings, not bright blue or fannable, but my wings. Incomplete narrative. 1. Fell to the floor and couldn't lever up, but there was a chair nearby, so got up that way. 2. No chair nearby. Neighbor brought one. All okay. 3. No chair, no neighbor. Bare room. Put his ear to the floor to listen. He could hear a chair below, scraping the floor when it moved. 4. Sat in the chair, and the chair fell over. On the floor, still in the chair. I wish I could fly, he said. Which first drops? 1 step into the rain and knew all I needed to know about it. Didn't step back. Daylight washed downstream, dusk pulled along behind. Further behind is me, listening to that cry coming from that tree something is always crying from this time of day. The outside of rain is desert. The inside is where I am. And inside the inside is that old ocean from which, first drop of life you made yourself. Another paragraph. Zoography. There are some animals that never die at night, only under the sun and in the open if they can. Others live through the day only to die at night in the most lightless part, some hidey hole or other. One kind pierced through by spears of light, one crushed by the weight of dark. During life, these animals are aware of each other, pass through the same fields and along the edges of the same forests, but neither is either predator or prey to the other. It's easy for them to pass each other by, nose bouncing up occasionally to test the wind. Each animal is to the other only a fact, not a relevant fact. This next one is Untitled, and I do not know what it means. Losing every night, part of every night, to dreams. Even pieces of dreams take something from 1 hour of rest or another. One speaking in a transference of the middle voice to a register higher or lower is shaking the walls on which there leans, as frequently happens, a child of the times, feeling lost without the dark centuries of the past. That was kind of very literary. 6:55. No jacket, the air cold but tolerable for a few minutes anyway. The highway hidden behind a woody ridge roars as if the world roars. For what has silence been traded, I ask myself in my mind without speaking? For this hour that took so long to get here? For some getaway from a pursuit we can't name? Or for nothing? Nothing in return for silence, I say out loud this time, or no deal at all. This next one, after the title, there's a little thing in quotation marks that's taken from an old sort of nature book, bird book kind of thing. Tanager. The densest evergreens could not altogether hide this blazing. Blazing just now on that barely hanging extension of maple tree, the furthest twig set over the northwest corner of my yard. Blazing, then flicking itself into the air and diving up into dense leaves. It nests, surely, in high canopy, where it watches the sun's love move all day, and at night stares at the zodiacal spread signifying in the dark. From there, hidden, it blazes a song down at us of what it's like where green meets blue, bird meets air, and all winds are first felt. I'm going to read two more. Why our disasters mean so much to us. It's our chance to learn what can't be saved for later. Our way of sowing heroes into the earth. Our compass points through the landscape of history. Our chance to recover from the weakness our certainties have smothered us with. Our disasters are like a sudden spray of light making the night sky live like us, startling and gone in a breath. When they are so remote as to be someone else's disasters, all we can do is sympathize with strangers. But in the light of our own disasters, we see ourselves and each other and what it is we stand to lose. Storms overnight. Sun 2 hours above the horizon. Branches of light penetrate every gap in the forest cover. The world glistens. Water drips off the leaves in a second rain now the storm has passed. Thunder last night and lashing on the roof. Now this cheerful sprinkle of splashes, a rhythm to cleanse the murky head of the sleep-deprived. What's next is always changing its tune. The storm seemed like it would never end. Now the bolts of sunshine look eternal. Innocent or violent, the next sound to come through the air will fall with the same weight on my ear. Thank you very much.